Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
A woman was trying really hard to get the ketchup out of the bottle. Now, during her struggle, the phone rang, so she asked her 4-year-old daughter to answer the telephone. Mommy can't come to the phone to talk to you right now. She's hitting the bottle. I love it. Good morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith, and God bless America, followed by a Patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance on a Monday. Good morning. Oh, thank you very much. And Wheels, can you adjust that up a little bit for me? I'd sure appreciate it, buddy. And good morning, everybody. Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations really serving you. Stop in and see them today, along with some of our great advertisers, including Western Way Services, always at your disposal. Get on the route service today. Call 734-6969. Right now, without further ado, let's go to the phone line and hopefully have a Pledge of Allegiance person. Good morning.
Yes, you do, Zeb, and a good morning to you.
Thank you, sir.
And I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Absolutely perfect. Thank you, sir. God's blessings to you, and have a wonderful week, okay?
Hey, thank you.
All right, thank you. Nice man right there. Thank you. We got a lot of things to talk about. Boy, have we got a lot of things to talk about, what's going on in the news. But right now, we want to take a look at the weather, brought to you by Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for the blue door. That's right. Mohawk Mondays. Don't forget they got the greatest of Mohawk carpet and all the selections, all the fibers, all the designs, everything there. Carpet and flooring, kitchen construction, home decor items, whatever you need to make your house a home. You'll see it right there at Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Really nice, folks. Number to call if you have questions, 678-6945. Right now, here's the weather.
Well, we could be expecting some rain and snow showers for today. A little bit on the windy side, not too bad. Winds out of the west right around 10 miles an hour, but 60% chance of precipitation. High of 43 for today. Tonight, low of 29. Tomorrow going to be a little bit better than today. Mostly cloudy, slightly breezy. High of 39 with an overnight low of 28. More sunshine for Wednesday with a high of 43 and partly cloudy and 40 for Thursday. And that's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina. Excellent job. Thank you much. Brought to you by Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for the blue door. They can help you with all your products for making your house a home. Carpet, flooring, kitchen construction, home decor items, everything. Congratulations. He's done it twice now. My goodness. Multiple winner. Larry Hudig was the winner of the Denny's Grand Slam Breakfast last week in the Game of the Week, and we're going to be featuring another top-notch football game, high school football game. We'll give you the name of the teams, and then you can call in and give us your pick and prediction on who's going to win, and the closest to the final score ends up winning a Grand Slam Slam breakfast from Denny's. And by the way, while I have just a moment, I want to also comment. A lot of people have called and asked about Lunch Bunch for this month at Denny's Restaurant, 611 Overland in Burley. And I want to tell you, Lunch Bunch, now write this down, please, and tell your friends and neighbors. For this month only this month in November, Lunch Bunch is going to be on Tuesday the 24th. Tuesday the 24th. And I don't want anybody getting there early. I don't want anybody getting there late. It's going to be Tuesday the 24th at Denny's, and the very best of breakfast, lunch, and dinner at Denny's Restaurant, 611 Overland and Burley, and on Pole Line in Twin Falls. And we've got a Christmas extravaganza we're going to start telling you about tomorrow on the show, so don't miss that, too. Let's see, what else have I got cooking here? Oh, don't forget SafeLink Internet, 677-8000, the number to call. The first month is free, plus free installation, no contracts, no credit checks, unlimited data. And it is Idaho's #1 choice in wireless internet. Boy, they do a nice job. Number to call and get on the program, 677-8000. SafeLink Internet, serving you just like they've been serving me for a long, long time. Daryl's Cleaners, too, at 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley. I want to say thank you. And by the way, there's still a lot of people that haven't got those, the drapes cleaned, and they haven't got the tablecloths cleaned from last year. Ooh, all that gravy and the cranberry sauce and a little bit of the dressing. My goodness, do you realize that Thanksgiving is in just a matter of days? You better get it in there and get it cleaned at 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley. Daryl's Cleaners. Absolutely the best. There you go. Last week, I want to get your opinion on this. Last week, I was watching on Friday afternoon for a few moments. I was watching Neil Cavuto on Business. And he said something that really got under my skin a little bit, and I thought I'd throw it out at you this morning. He said, and I'm kind of paraphrasing, but it's almost a pretty direct quote, we, the United States, has to do something about entitlements. And he and his guest went on and on about, well, we got to cut back here, people have got to sacrifice, and our seniors have got to sacrifice, and everything. Whoa, wait a minute. Stop the Wells Fargo station here. And maybe what we need to do is stop the absolute ridiculous, asinine waste of government spending. And they're stealing our money for basic stupidity. Now, it's easy to say, well, we've got to do something about entitlements. But it's also something that needs to be looked at as far as what's going on with government waste and spending. Millions and millions and millions of dollars, totaling into the billions with a B, of dollars that are being absolutely thrown in a toilet and flushed over the studies of like shrimp on a treadmill. That's the one that I always keep coming back to because it's so doggone stupid. I almost slipped. Excuse me. But here we go with always saying we've got to take money away from people that are senior citizens, whatever. Oh, we've got to do something about entitlements. But at the same time, we let our government run roughshod in a total waste program. And I'd like your thoughts on that. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Always easy to, we got to do something about entitlements. Well, the seniors are just going to have to suck it up and tighten their belt a notch. Yeah, on and on and on. And at the same time, we have this idiocy going on caused by our congressmen, our senators, our president, this administration, and previous administrations, to be fair, of always wasting money on frivolous, absolutely stupid and insane items. Caller, stay there. I'll be right there. Don't forget Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. And they're open at 7:30 in the morning till 5 Monday through Fridays. And they've got all your heating and electrical needs. Now, don't forget the weather forecast. Sounds like it's going to cool off a tad bit. So you better make sure your furnace is running efficiently, and you be sure and check out the furnace filters right there at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, where they provide warm winters and cool summers. Ramsey Heating and Electric. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Yes, ma'am.
From what I understand, Social Security is not an entitlement because we put money into that as you do in any retirement system.
No, wait a minute. Let me correct you on something.
They have no right to take our money out of that and use it for everything else, and they never pay it back in.
Linda, just a minute, though. You're a dear friend. I don't mean to sound like I'm correcting you, but there is a phrase that you used that is not entirely the truth. You said, we put that into Social Security. No, they took it. Are you there?
We paid money into it.
Yeah, but wait a minute. We personally... Yeah, but Linda, we didn't personally pay into it. It was taken out of our checks.
Well, that's true, yes.
Yeah, we didn't graciously say, oh, here, take this Social Security. I can't wait 40 years to see what the amount's going to be. We didn't do that. It was taken out of our checks, and they took it from the time I was 16 until now when I'm 68, and I'm sick and tired of it being called an entitlement. Would you agree?
Yeah, it just... And they don't need to borrow from it either.
That's exactly right. Well, no, wait a minute. There again, though...
The property, but it is ours, too.
Linda, wouldn't you say that when they borrow from it, when you borrow something, then you have to put it back? I would call it...
They think they borrowed it.
Yeah, I would call it stealing myself.
I would, too. They call it borrowing, but they don't. They steal it and never put it back.
Absolutely.
Appropriation of funds.
Absolutely. Are you as mad...
It's likely to be used in wasteful spending.
There you go. Are you as mad about what's being done and said about senior citizens as I am? It's almost like they're trying to shuffle us under the carpet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, God bless you. Well, listen, I want to say something really, really nice about you, so don't interrupt me because it's the truth. You are one of the greatest national anthem singers ever, and I just don't think you've ever had enough credit given to you. God bless you for what you do and how you sing it.
Thank you, Seb. And, it's an honor to be able to sing our national anthem.
Well, you do a wonderful job. Thank you so much, Linda. God bless. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you. That lady can sing the national anthem. She can sing anything. I mean, that's not a question, but that national anthem, she can hit some notes, and it makes a lot of people that try to sing the national anthem, they ought to go to her for lessons, believe me. Right now, I want to tell you about, hold on, caller, I'll be right there, I promise. You know me, I get long-winded. Don't forget Minnecasia Sales with Zach and the rest of the crew. My goodness sakes, I want to talk a little bit about Western Windows this morning. They've got the Western Windows that absolutely can upgrade your windows and save on your heating bills this winter. And it's not too late. No. Give them a call right now at 878-2091 or stop in to Minnecasia Sales, 1321 East Main Street in Burley, right across from the airport. Wonderful people serving you, and they sponsor tomorrow on Tuesday at 10:06 Dr. History. Minnecasia Sales, you stop in and see them today. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, Zeb, you shouldn't add to my story, but I got to also comment about how wonderful of a job Linda does. She is absolutely, in my opinion, the greatest singer of that song.
I agree.
I've ever heard.
I agree.
She just inspires me every time I hear her sing it.
Well, I'm blessed to have her be a part of our lunch bunch and have her sing there.
Well, I agree. It is wonderful. Now, on this entitlements crap, I feel the seniors have paid their debt there. We saved the money to Social Security, and there's none of us will ever get back what we paid in there. The ones that upset me are the ones that are taking advantage of the system all the way. They, couples that don't get married, they claim they live in their mother's house, and they get so much more money from welfare, food stamps, and these other programs that, they never put a penny in their life. They'll probably never work a day in their life.
Yeah.
And yet they're allowed to draw. And anytime there's any cutback, it's never the freeloaders. It's always the soldiers and the seniors. And it just infuriates me because the soldiers have paid their dues also. The seniors paid in through Social Security all their life. And they let the guys that have never paid nothing, the illegal aliens, a lot of these college kids, and I'm not opposed to kids going to college. I'm just opposed to them going over and over and over. And I've got a granddaughter that does that.
All right, well...
Several times just so she can get that big hunk of money every year. She can drive the new car, live in the nice house, and... it just upsets me when I see that kind of thing going on.
I don't blame you, Jerry.
And I'm not real popular with my granddaughter because she knows where I stand.
Well, yeah, but you speak out and tell the truth.
I think they're attacking the wrong people.
Absolutely.
On the entitlement.
Absolutely. I don't even...
I think that are getting way more than their share are our congressmen and our president. I seen something that we spent $1.5 billion providing Obama vacations this year. I seen that published somewhere. And that just blew my mind. I could not understand it anyway. He has done nothing to earn that.
All right, Jerry, thank you very much for your call. I got to run and do a commercial break, my dear friend. God bless you and have a super, super day, all right?
Okay. Well,
thank you, sir. Appreciate it. He's right. He's absolutely... One term I won't...
Wonderful day, may the Lord bless.
Thank you, Jerry. God bless you, man. One thing Jerry said that I won't even use on this program, I won't use the word entitlements. I just, for some reason, I'm not going to use that. There's certain words and terminology I won't abide by, and that's one of them. And when I heard Cavuto and this other guest say that the other day about we have to do something about entitlements, I slammed my fist down, scared the dog. Ruby ran in the corner, thought I was mad at her. No, not mad, Ruby. But I would love to get on these programs and just have them be much more careful about how they discern entitlements and why they can't take government wastefulness, to which this government, more so with this administration than others previously, have been allowed to just absolutely rape, pillage, and plunder like they took $150 billion the other day out of a Social Security trust fund to pay budget bills for Obama. This is ludicrous. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. By the way, that brings me up to a point. Tomorrow on the program at 9:15, we're expecting a call from Senator Mike Crapo, and it's about what he's going to do to present some of our veterans a very special award for Veterans Day, and I very much salute and appreciate what Mike is doing. But I'm also going to talk to him about this very matter, entitlements, Social Security, and the mess that this Obama budget is going to cause. So we'll be sure and ask him about that. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. You better give them a call and make an appointment today. They can help you get back to being you, feeling better. Absolutely. All the exercises and the sports medicine and the hydrotherapy pool with the treadmill. Oh, yeah, I've used it. I know. I got to get back in there and use it some more. That they are the best with their great lineup of physical therapists that can help you. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, 678-1191. Calls are welcome. Give me a call. And I'd like to hear what your thoughts are. There's something else I wanted to mention to you this morning, and that's the canceling of the Keystone Pipeline. Obama just all of a sudden had an epiphany the other day and stood up at his little microphone and said, nope, not going to do it. Canceled out by the worst president in the history of the United States, Barack Obama. It would have brought in and helped the American culture with more jobs. it would have been much more security-minded for shipping of the oil from Canada down here to the United States, and it would have helped maintain lower oil prices indefinitely for you and for me and for our economy. But this man that is so hell-bent on climate change, this man that is going to go to that meeting next month in December in Paris and basically sell our soul on climate change, is absolutely going to do so many more things in the next 437 days to hurt us and intimidate us and financially and economically put us on the back road to ruin. I don't like this man. I don't trust this man. And this cancellation of the Keystone Pipeline is just one small reason. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. What happened, Wheels? Where are they?
They hung up.
Oh, well, don't hang up so fast. I can't get to you right away. Calls are welcome, 436-2244. Wheels, if you can, boost that up a little bit if you can. Give me a call and let me know your thoughts on this. There's our caller calling back. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zach.
Yes, talk to me. Go.
I can barely hear you.
I can hear you fine. Go ahead.
Okay. This so-called president that we have, who says that the Keystone Pipeline is not in the best interest of the country, where does he get his facts?
Well, he's looking at a Democratic mantra. That's why he's coming out. It's nothing more than an environmental mantra that he is in bed with for climate change. This man wants to see escalating electricity prices. He wants to see escalating fuel prices, and he's going to force on us a very high-priced green energy program.
I do believe that he's going to try to keep one of his commitments before he leaves, and that's $7 or $8 a gallon for gas.
I do too.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Keith. I think the American public right now is being lulled into a false sense of security on gas and energy prices, and all I can say is hold on, because the elevator's going to go to the top floor.
You know, one other thing you were talking about, the Social Security Fund, there is one negative about privatizing that, and I'll tell you what it is. If a person has bad luck and they lose their business or they go broke or, become sick or something and can't take care of their obligations, if they privatize Social Security, the bankruptcy court can seize that, but they cannot get it through Social Security. So if you have a 401k or any other type of investment or something, that's fair game for them to take. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did, but I'll also say this, and I've got a hard break I got to get right to, Keith. I'll say this quickly. Number one, if the Social Security system had been started and created like it should have been for you, Keith Cottom, and for me, Zeb Bell, to have our own private accounts, and the money we put in is the money that we can reap out later on in life, that's fine. But they have borrowed and begged and stolen from those accounts as they did last week.
And the tragic thing about that is that once, even though your wife paid in and you paid in all those years, if your wife suddenly expires, you can only take one program from them.
Yeah,
your wife's or yours.
It's like trying to beat the house down in Las Vegas. It just ain't going to happen. Keith, I got a hard break I got to run to. Thank you very, very much for your call, my friend.
You bet.
Thank you, sir. Caller, I'll be right there. Please bear with me. I want to tell everybody about Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aid, and I just want to stress, more so than ever before, that a lot of hearing problems can be caused by your health. And I do have another caller. I know that, Wills. I'll be right there. Your health, maybe it's related to cardiovascular activities or maybe kidney health. All of these things should be checked out because they can affect your hearing along with medications. So check it out today. Call for an appointment at 312-0957. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids with Dr. Christine Pickup. I went over and had my hearing checked. You should too. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, 312-0957. Caller, real quick call, and then I've got to do a contest. Good morning, you're on the air.
Well, good morning, Zeb. I'm afraid that when I get to be retirement age, and I'm pretty sure they're going to move the goalpost on us again, at least for me, I really don't think it'll be there because I think they'll take it out and steal it and misappropriate it and give it to the people that don't deserve it, that never put into it, and all of a sudden, about the time I get ready to retire, they'll go, "Oh, okay, we're sorry.
Yeah.
There's nothing left. You're on your own. Have a nice life, huh?"
Yeah, I agree with you, and I'm fed up with looking at people that are deadbeats to our society, that are leeches on welfare program, and I'm not saying all. For some reason, some of the left loons that listen to this program that never call in, they don't have the nerve, they always take my words and twist them. There are people that are on welfare programs that absolutely need the help, but you know as well as I do, there are also leeches claiming false disability claims and everything else, and we've got leeches on the system that are taking money away from people that absolutely deserve it, and that's why the program is almost belly up.
Yeah. The other thing on the pipeline, at least the president that was in power in the early 70s had the sense to build the Alaska pipeline.
Yeah, absolutely. Always appreciate your calls and your insight. Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Have a good one.
All right, buddy. Thanks. It is time to give away to a first-time winner a half-dozen delicious cinnamon rolls from Sophie's Chatterbox at 530 East Street in Rupert. Oh, these are so good. All that nice gooey frosting and warm. Oh, they're delicious. So you can win a half-dozen cinnamon rolls right now from Sophie's Chatterbox, 530 East Street in Rupert. And be sure if you're the winner to call and let them know when you'll be over to pick up the cinnamon rolls. Now, this question this morning is a little bit tougher. Now, I want you to think about it. And the first person to call, 436-2244 or 1-866-927-4587 with the right answer is going to win the cinnamon rolls. Here it is. In the movie Lonesome Dove, near what town in Nebraska did Gus's old girlfriend own a horse ranch? Now, if you saw the movie, they went back to this town many, many times and that area in the movie. In the movie Lonesome Dove, near what town in Nebraska did Gus's old girlfriend own a horse ranch? Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
I believe that was Ogallala.
Who is this?
Larry Bean.
Larry Bean?
Yes, sir.
Well, Larry, have you ever won before?
I think I did a couple months ago and then forgot and didn't go get them.
Oh, all right. Well, if that's honestly the truth, you are correct, and I'll let you win this one. How's that?
Thank you very much.
Now, you call them and tell them when you're going to be over there to get them, okay?
Okay, will do.
All right. Well, if he forgot and didn't take part in it and he's a first-time, I guess we'll call him a first-time winner. Ogallala, Nebraska. In the movie Lonesome Dove, near what town in Nebraska did Gus's old girlfriend own a big horse ranch? It was Ogallala, Nebraska. Larry, congratulations. We're going to go ahead and let him win. He didn't get his other prize out of the time. All right, calls are welcome. 436, Sophie's Cinnamon Rolls. We appreciate everything at Sophie's Chatterbox, 530 East Street in Rupert. Wow, they're good. All right, calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Did you hear what it's starting back in the Midwest and also back in the East in certain malls, but certain shopping malls have canceled the handicap parking stalls, taken down the handicap sign, the person in the wheelchair, and they've put up signs saying reserved for hybrid automobiles and low fossil fuel emitting vehicles. Why, come on. Being a guy on crutches, I just this last year after I broke my hip and it's been kind of hard to get around, I went and got a handicap sticker because, man, I can't walk like I used to. I used to park a long way away because I enjoyed the walk. I really did, honestly. And now that I've got this busted up hip after I had that knee surgery, everything's falling apart on me. I went and got a sticker, one of those little things you can hang on your windshield. And now to think that they're going to give at malls certain preference to hybrid cars and low fossil fuel emitting vehicles over and above people that need to park closer, that need to have a lesser walk into the store. You gotta be kidding me. Here I'm going to get chewed out for this, but if I ever see one of those signs around here in this area, I think I'll take my little bitty screwdriver and take it down. That is absolutely ridiculous to give credence and privilege to someone that is probably spending a whole bunch of money on a car that I think is absolutely ridiculous, hybrids, and low fossil fuel emitting vehicles over someone that needs to park closer because of a physical challenge. Does that not bother you? It does me. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. We went by Barry Equipment and Rental in Twin Falls the other day, and holy smokes out there on Addison Avenue West, where old Eli hangs his hat, that place is jam-packed with equipment. I mean, I never saw so many Bobcat skid steer loaders. I never saw so many Doosan loaders. I never saw so many Coyote tractors. I mean, they've got them all over the place. Holy smokes, and the same is true for the other locations, too. Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, South Lincoln in Jerome, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. They do have the equipment to get the job done right. Please remember their hours, Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 5:30, Saturday, 8 to 5. Barry Equipment and Rental. Really good old boys that can help you with all your equipment needs. I guarantee it. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Something happened over the weekend I want to talk to you about. Okay, stay tuned for that. Ramsey Heating and Electric offering rebates on qualified Lennox home comfort systems. Whether it's a gas furnace, an air conditioner, or a heat pump, you and your family will enjoy the comfort. Yes, sir, Bobby, 678-0459. And you can learn how Ramsey Heating and Electric, along with Lennox, can save you money. Absolutely. Okay, here we go. The other night, Deanna and I were coming home. I had a little problem, and I had to go to the hospital on Saturday for a short time. And we were coming home, and we saw a very, very bright light in kind of the southwestern sky. It looked like it was almost directly over Hanson. Well, as we got closer to Hanson, it wasn't over Hanson. It looked then like it was over the South Hills. And it was a kind of a funny light, almost like a severely bright landing light, but it had kind of a fantail after it. And you could see it. It was just like it was hanging right above your head, basically. Well, it appears that when we did a little checking on this light, and I want to know if anybody else saw it on Saturday, but they're claiming that it was a missile, an unarmed missile that was fired from a Navy submarine out in the Pacific Ocean. That's what they're claiming. Now, How in the world, with the curvature of the Earth, I'm just asking all you scientific type people out there, how in the world with the curvature of the Earth and the times being matched the same, California versus here, and only we get darker quicker here than they do down there, they're saying, well, not to worry. It was just a test of an ongoing system evaluation test. So said the Navy officials. They said that it was an unarmed missile fired off the coast of Southern California. Now, I got a picture of it right here. And I'm just curious, did anybody else see this thing on Saturday night? I'd like to know. About maybe, I'm trying to remember the exact time, about 6:45. 6:45 here, which would have been 5:45 down in California. But, you know, we are being duped into just buying and taking everything the government tells us. And that leads me to another story. Oh, I know you're sitting there thinking, oh, my goodness, Zeb, all the little black helicopters and black uniformed people in pajamas jumping out of helicopters. Well, now, just listen to this for a second. A notice was served last week to Los Angeles International Airport that the armed forces, the Air Force in particular, would be having, quote unquote, and I'm reading this, mysterious maneuvers over the Pacific. And they say they are forcing a change in Los Angeles International Airport landings late at night for this whole week. Now, the airspace over the Pacific is closed to incoming flights for this week. Oh, yeah? A little conspiracy theory here? Oh, boy. The military is not saying what exactly is causing the change. And Los Angeles International says that it's also kind of wondering what's going on. Now, 6 years ago, ABC Television, Channel 7 down there in LAX, Los Angeles area, their cameras captured a military operation in downtown LA. Yeah, it was supposed to be a secret and clandestine type operation. It showed with the ABC Channel 7 cameras, helicopters were seen swooping between high-rises close enough that residents were able to see armed soldiers in camouflage right outside their window in the helicopters. Now, authorities naturally said that it was part of a training exercise designed to ensure the military's ability to operate in urban environments and to prepare forces for upcoming overseas deployment. So, really? Downtown L.A.? What would have happened had one of those crashed? What would have happened if more than one would have crashed as they're swooping like a movie from Hollywood through the high-rises? And how come everything has to be so serious and so secretive? And how come LAX, one of the largest airports in the world, shut down for a week for incoming flights? Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Oh, yeah, somebody's going to call and say, well, don't you trust the government? No. Mad River Laser is going to bring us the weather right now. Their gift shop has all kinds of home decor items and all the fall goodies as we get closer and closer to Thanksgiving. And then after that, closer and closer to Christmas. Oh, my goodness sakes. And they've got all the end-of-the-year business awards they can make for your business and all your business promotional products. Everything right there at Mad River Laser, 502 East Street in Rupert. Caller, don't go away. I'll be right with you. I got to get the weather on. Here's Gina with the weather.
Well, we could be expecting some rain and snow showers for today. A little bit on the windy side, not too bad. Winds out of the west right around 10 miles an hour, but 60% chance of precipitation. High of 43 for today. Tonight's low of 29. Tomorrow going to be a little bit better than today. Mostly cloudy, slightly breezy. High of 39 with an overnight low of 28. More sunshine for Wednesday with a high of 43 and partly cloudy and 40 for Thursday. And that's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Oh, I appreciate it, Gina. Thank you. Brought to you by Mad River Laser, 502 East Street in Rupert. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
Well, my gut feeling over what's going on with LAX and the helicopters buzzing around, can anybody say martial law?
Oh, gosh. Come on now, Doug. What's the matter with you being a conspiracy theorist? What's the matter with you?
Well, it's either a conspiracy theorist or a realist, however you want to.
Okay, let's go back to the first story. Did you see the light?
No, I did not.
I did. I'm going to tell you, my lovely bride and I saw it. We watched it, and honestly, we thought it was right up over the South Hills. It was a very intriguing light, one of which I have never seen before of its kind or nature. Then I get home. Seriously, that night I get home, and I hear about these secret military operations diverting planes from LAX, and I'm sitting there going, oh, it's kind of spooky.
Yeah, I did see a little bit of it on the news about it, and it said that it was a missile test, unarmed missile test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now, okay, you, Mr. Science teacher, wouldn't it be really difficult for us to see that if it was a test firing in the Pacific because of the curvature of the Earth and the time that it happened up here in the dark and the proximity of where the light was? I guess I'm having a hard time buying this, Doug.
Well, for us to see it up here, it'd have to be pretty high up in the air.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be mile up. It'd have to be, my guess, it'd have to be up quite a ways.
And it looked like the light, honestly, was shining on the ground. I'm serious. I'm not making this up. You can ask my wife, and she is a person not to ever be questioned.
Most wives aren't.
Yeah, that's right.
but no, I think the government's up to something. Obama's up to something. He's for stopping that Keystone pipeline.
Yeah.
He's setting us up because he wants our energy costs here in America to be what it is in Europe.
Oh, there's no question. No question. And I think, like Keith said earlier, with energy prices, I'm very, very, I think questioning, and I'm very nervous is a good word, as to what's going to happen right after Christmas. I think that after this meeting in Paris on climate change, you had better hold on to your Tony Lamas because we're going to go to the top floor.
I think you're right. I think we're going to be on the top of the Space Needle instead of up the Space Needle.
All right, Doug. Hey, listen, always good to have you call. Thank you so much.
Hey, I got just one more
yes, sir.
thing, unless you got to go.
No, that's all right. Quick. Go ahead.
Ben Carson, that scrutiny he's been getting over his book and his scholarships, and I love his answer. I love it. And the comment I seen the other day said he's glad that one presidential candidate is being, his college records are being open and scrutinized.
Amen. Yeah, and the way you know what I'd like to see Ben Carson do? Caller number 2, stand by just a second. I would love to see Ben Carson go, and please do not take this as anything negative against Ben Carson. I don't mean it to sound that way. But I think if he could go to a speech teacher and learn how to fire back in more rapid succession with his speech when he's trying to make a point, I think a lot of people are hinging on every word, and I think sometimes he loses his effectiveness. Does that make sense?
Yes, he's very soft-spoken.
Yeah.
And what I've understood is he had anger issues when he was young.
Yeah.
And he's brought them under control and hasn't had any episodes for a long, long time.
See, that's where guys like you and me, why we never get mad. That's why we can talk the way we do. God bless you, Doug. Thanks so much.
Too mad anyway.
Okay, take care, buddy.
All righty. Hey, God bless.
Thank you. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Yes, I just want to comment about the light. We was in between Elba and Almo, and I've never seen anything like it, but just like you were saying, it looked like a giant spotlight shining down on the ground. In fact, we drove to see what it was, and it was lit up that whole valley there. Like I say, my wife started joking too. I guess it's a UFO, but I've never seen anything so bright ever.
Okay, now let me ask you something, sir, and I really appreciate and respect your calling in. The light, per se, it looked like it was coming down right here on our area, and it was a very bright light. Now, that being said, do you have, like I'm having, a little hard time thinking this was a unarmed missile that was set off in the Pacific Ocean?
Absolutely. Well, of course, we thought it was some kind of giant spotlight off a helicopter because we could see the light shooting right down, fanning out right towards the ground.
Now, what you just said is exactly what my wife and I thought. We thought it was a helicopter. It was on kind of maybe a military run to where they were trying to shine lights on the ground. You said it perfectly. That's what I thought it was.
Okay, well, that was my finding anyway.
All right, sir, God bless you for your call. Thank you very much. Thank you. That man said it the best. Honestly, I thought Deanna and I both thought it was a helicopter. And we both thought with that light shining on the ground. And I do have a picture of it right here in front of me. But to buy into the fact, and come on, all you scientists out there, to buy into the fact that that was an unarmed missile that was launched from a ship off the coast of Southern California, I'm having a hard time with that. I'm not buying into their story. Well, can you imagine that? Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I almost forgot the number. You caught me on that, didn't you? I'm sorry. Don't forget your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations. Oh, they've got all your traction tires. Now, the weather, we might even see some snow this week. So you better get in there, and the question is, are you traction ready? Well, you will be if you go into your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and tell them exactly what you're looking for, and they can help you. Caller, I'll be right there. Stand by. Don't forget, they've even got all the tire chains, and they've got all the studded tires, and they got the snow wheels. Oh, and have your brakes checked. The best brake value promise in the industry with professionally trained technicians. They're good. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family and Paul, John on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Thank you. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yes, Zeb. I was watching on YouTube that light, and there shows 3 different lights in the sky. I don't know if you saw them. The one they said was a missile. The other looked like a helicopter. And then one was a UFO over LAX.
Now, all this took place at the same time on Saturday night? Talk to me.
That's all I saw.
Okay.
And then you bring up the fact that they are shutting down LAX for a week.
Yeah.
Tells me that maybe there's a little more going on between our military, Obama, and maybe something from maybe another world has me kind of on edge.
I agree with you. It's got me a little spooked, too, and I appreciate your call. Thank you very, very much, and call us again. I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. You know, I'm not sitting here and I'm going to go, do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do, Rod Serling's The Twilight Zone. But I am going to say, like the last caller, these are kind of unique. Mysterious light in sky sends Californians into tizzy. Oh, story number 2. Secret military operations to divert Los Angeles international planes for a week. Huh? You know, folks, we live in very interesting and power-lusting times to where people want to try to take people over and have massive control over people, i.e. us. And when I read stories like that, I got them right here in my hands. I'm not making them up. And you heard some of the callers. They saw the light. I'm a little worried. And I'm very questioning of what's going on. All of us should. And I'm not buying into the missile being launched from a ship out in the Pacific Ocean. Nah, I can't buy that. Sorry. And the other one with the closing of one of the largest airports. I have flown into L.A. International just hundreds of times, literally. And at night, that's when you make a lot of those connecting flights for the be there at your location the next day. To close that down, my goodness, this is going to be a business nightmare. We'll have more on this later. Right now, I want to remind you, you're listening to Zeb at the Ranch. Make sure you're hearing everything. Contact Mount Harrison Audiology for a hearing screening. Call 312-0957 today. We're going to take a little break and let the big boys from CBS come in and mess everything up. We'll see you in 6. Wheels, take it away. Oh, here we go. Hour number 2 on a Monday. Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell, and my engineer's name is Wheels, and he's over at the main studio. Thank you very much. And, of course, we're brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, and also some of our great advertisers like Western Waste Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and the embraces. Western Waste Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Waste Services.
I appreciate that, Western Waste Services. Hey, how about a dumpster? How about a dumpster? Has anybody come up to you and said, how about a dumpster? Well, I'll tell you what, Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. They've got dumpsters in various sizes. Maybe you better clean out a whole bunch of things before you have the family over for Thanksgiving or the holiday, Christmas. My goodness, and they've got dumpsters in various sizes. They can deliver them and then come pick them up. You better believe it, always at your disposal. Get on the route service, locally owned and operated. Get rid of your garbage. Call them at 734-6969, Western Waste Services. Every morning at 8:06 when we start the program, of course, you know that we have our weather brought to you by Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for the blue door. Everything, all the carpet, flooring, kitchen construction, home decor items, whatever you need to make your house a home, right there at Cheney Flooring and Home Design in Burley. Look for the blue door. Also want to say thank you very much to Hanson Mortuary. They have been with us on this program for many, many years. They're located at 710 6th Street in Rupert. Number to call, 436-5636. Very flexible hours to work for you and when you need them. Absolutely. And they can travel to rural towns and churches, too, to help you with the arrangements when there's the passing of a loved one. Always with the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity. Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert. The number to call, 436-5636. It's Monday, and that means that we have an opportunity to visit with a good old friend of ours on the air, and that is from Colorado, Doug Johnson. Good morning, Doug. Hello, Doug. Are you there?
Zeb, I think I can barely hear you. I hope you're talking to me.
I am, and I'm going to have Wheels monitor that. Wheels, you got to have it so they can hear my voice, so you're going to have to monitor this call a little bit. Good morning to you, sir, and I'm going to talk about something else this morning than what you anticipated, because I think it's very, very sinister, and I think it's very serious. On Saturday evening, my wife and I were returning from Twin Falls, and we noticed a very funny light in the sky, and it seemed like it was almost right over our heads. And it was very concerning to both my wife and I talked to other people that have seen this light, and all of a sudden the United States Navy came out and said very quickly, oh no, it wasn't a UFO, good heavens no. We were firing an unarmed missile off the coast of Southern California. Now, I put this to you, my good friend Doug, if you're a scientist and you can help me. If they fired it off the coast of California in the Pacific, wouldn't the curvature of the Earth and everything else make it very hard for us to see here like it was a light shining right on us in southern Idaho? And many, many people saw this light, and it looked like it was right in their backyard. Au contraire, I don't believe the Navy. Should I?
Well, while you were asking your question or describing the situation, I was thinking your question before you even asked it, Zeb. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand this stuff. I'm not a scientist, but let me say this, that when I moved to Colorado years ago, I moved up into the mountains and into an area that is directly north of White Sands Missile Range and stuff in New Mexico. And a lot of stuff that was shot off from White Sands would head up our way. We wouldn't see it till I got up that way, but we saw a lot of strange stuff. And there were other things that went on, and there's a lot of speculation. It's a very high concentration of UFO reports in that area. And I came to believe that, I'm not a believer in extraterrestrial life, but I did come to believe that the military does all sorts of stuff, and they always blame it on whatever they can to get your mind off of it. But I don't... To answer your question in short order, no, I wouldn't believe them. I usually don't.
All right, now, that dovetails into another story that I heard last week, and I did some follow-up on. This week, my dear friend Doug Johnson, mysterious maneuvers will be taking place over the Pacific Ocean, and thus Los Angeles International Airport late-night landings have been canceled for a full week. Now, I have flown into LAX many, many, many times in the evening to be at an event the next day. That is going to cause a huge disruption in business, and all of this, they say, for military maneuvers. What's going on here, Dougie?
Well, I don't know, but I guess my question would be then, will the Orange County Airport and the Burbank Airport also be closed? They were very close to LAX. I used to live there, and I used to fly in and out of all three.
Yep.
And to close one because of something like that, I don't know why just the one would be affected, not the other two. So it's very strange. I wonder what's up.
Well, I do too, and all of this together with this light and this unarmed missile being fired off the coast of California and then canceling. You know, Doug, being that you lived there, and every time I flew to California for a rodeo, I would fly into either Sacramento, San Francisco, or Los Angeles. And I know the airport very well. That is an airport, one of the biggest in the world, and you just don't go in and close night traffic because it's going to be a mess. People trying to get connecting flights.
Well, you sure wouldn't think so, although Bill Clinton closed it to get a haircut. So, and that was the middle of the day. But yeah, I don't know. I have no doubt there's a lot of suspicious stuff going on. Have no idea. But, you know, part of me wonders with the increasing threats we're seeing from foreign countries such as North Korea and specifically China and their military actions, especially in the Pacific. There may be things going on there that, defense-wise, that when I wear training or operations of some sort, that they don't want people to see. And I have no idea, but that would be my first guess. I find it very odd to close LAX, one of the major airports in the country. It's I don't know how busy it is compared to the others. I know it's one of the top 10. I don't know where it is in that list, but it's, like you say, extremely busy. And it's LA is a city that never sleeps, and so that airport's always busy regardless of the time of day. So it's very, very strange to do that.
Okay, now I want to go to something else here real quick, and then we'll get into politics in the latter half of this program. I was holding my breath, but I was cheating and taking a little sip of air every now and then, waiting for Obama to okay the Keystone Pipeline. Well, he came out in favor of the Enviros last week, and just before the big meeting next month in Paris for climate change, yep, oh, the Keystone Pipeline is a no-done deal. Not going to happen. What are your thoughts?
Well, I wasn't surprised. I never expected him to even consider it. I mean, he's been against it from the word go. He believes this is a big climate change issue because he wants to put through Agenda 21 and raise taxes and devastate us financially and take away our energy and make us a third-rate country and all these other things. So I'm not really surprised, sadly. And sadly, by the time the next election comes and whoever comes into office, even with a Congress who supports that president, we may have missed the boat. And Canada will find other ways to ship oil elsewhere, and they already have to some degree. This is costing Americans jobs. It is costing our economy. But it is, once again, putting a light on who this president is and what he is. He is out to harm America. There is nothing he has done, not once, and I defy anybody to show me something that he has done where he's done something that is good for America. And so I think this just reflects on who he is and on what we face. And the big fear, and you and I have talked about it before, Zeb, is the closer we get to the end of his term, the more radical he becomes, the more dangerous he becomes.
Well, we have 437 days left with this man. And I'm just going to tell you the cork's out of the bottle. Anything is going to flow anywhere and everywhere, right off the table onto the floor. I don't trust this man. I think right now we've got so many concerns as to what he's going to do, not only with climate change, but also with economic policies and especially with our military. I honestly am very, very concerned for the next 437 days.
Well, we should be, and you're right. It's in every area, not just one area. And what we should be even more scared of is what this means if a Democrat is elected, or even a progressive Republican is elected, because he has a Congress that, for the most part, supports him. Even though they may not show that on the surface, they do support him because they keep putting through his stuff. And so we have great concern, or should have great concern, over where this is headed, because he is setting the stage, and the further he gets, the easier it is for the next progressive president to pick this up and run with it. We have very few good choices of people in elected office right now, and it's important we seek out the good ones and get them into office. Seeing things happen like what we saw happen in Kentucky, which I granted is a governor's office, but it's still an important example, where Matt Bevin, who lost to Mitch McConnell in 2014, was able to come back and take the governor's office. Now there's going to be some major positive changes in Kentucky. We need to see that a lot, especially on the federal level. There are probably only, in my count, at best 36 conservatives in the House of Representatives, and a very small number also in the Senate. So we've got an uphill battle. But we need to keep putting the pressure on, and having a conservative president, while it will pit the president against Congress, will give the edge to us, because the president can use a bully pulpit to start to push conservative things, and that will force many Republicans to get behind the conservatives.
You know, Doug, when you look at this, and I know you live, sleep, and breathe and eat politics, this is your mantra. But what are rank them, 1, 2, and 3, your biggest worries and concerns that this man, this insidious man that evidently just hates everything about capitalism and this economy in our United States, what do you honestly think he's going to do?
You know, I've never thought of it in those terms, oddly enough. Maybe I should, but I guess my biggest concern is a couple things. One is the continued influx of immigrants into this country, legally or illegally at this point, because what people don't realize is that bringing in these immigrants changes the makeup of the Electoral College. The Electoral College, the votes that are given are based on how the House districts are set up, and unfortunately those districts are set up based on population, not based on citizenship. So if you bring in a whole bunch of people to an area, even if they're not citizens, they still affect how that is structured. And so I have major concern over our open borders because the risk it puts on all fronts is so huge. And I will say, and a lot of people are writing about how certain Republican candidates are looking to, they'll win in the polls. It shows they'll win over Hillary or whoever the Democrat is. I'm not buying it. I think the Democrats still have the best chance to win. We are a long way from victory and have a big job to do yet. That said, so that'd be the first thing. The second thing, you mentioned our military. Where we stand abroad, what we're doing abroad is terrible. He sends in special forces in the Middle East to supposedly help against ISIS, and what does he do? He sends in 50 people. 50 people is not going to take out ISIS. We need to be sending in major forces to do a major job. So that would be the second thing, and the third thing would certainly fall under the economy and all the ways he can impact that.
Let me ask you one question right there, Doug, please. In the last 18 months, honestly, have you heard, have you read, or have you seen any reports of major confrontation with ISIS? They have been left unchecked. They've been let to go and grow like a cancer, and really for some group that is absolutely the most insidious group ever known to mankind with the beheadings and everything else, no country, especially us, has had a major confrontation with them trying to put them asunder. Can you think of one?
Well, Russia's made the best effort of anybody, and that's not saying a lot. And then they haven't been at very long. I think the downing of this airliner here this last week could put more fire in the gut of Vladimir Putin on that sense. But no, I don't think so. But then I am totally, I shouldn't say it that way, I absolutely question all of Obama's motives when it comes to the Middle East. We know he is anti-Israel. We know he is pro-Islam. And we know that his administration has been infiltrated, and our government has been infiltrated by the Muslim Brotherhood, who are part of the whole terrorist network. And so we have problems on a level that go so far beyond what we even imagine. Our problems are not just overseas. Our problems are here domestically. And when you see what's going on in Europe, with all these migrants going into Europe, and what's happening up there, they're being flooded. They're taking over the continent, and 70 to 80% of the migrants going in, some report even over 90% of the migrants going in, are military-age males.
That's right.
They're not families, they're not little children, they're not women, they're military-age males. This, to me, I think Donald Trump said it well, this could very well be a Trojan horse. And what scares me, Zeb, is not just what it could do to Europe, which we have to think about because that's important for our own security, too. But if it happens there, they're headed here next, but they're already on the way.
Well, they've already been here, though.
Major problems, and this is why, I have, unless somebody can change my mind, I have decided that Donald Trump is the best candidate for 2016 because he's the one guy who's dead serious about closing the border and shipping people out. And that is the number one concern for our country. If we don't close that border and secure this country, nothing else matters.
Well, they're already here, is what I want to make a point here. Our local College of Southern Idaho and the Times-News basically have sung Kumbaya, and they're all holding hands at a fire saying, come on in, Syrian refugees, come on in, Muslims, come on in here. And we're seeing an influx, and the numbers are going to grow rapidly over the next couple of months. Doug, they're already here, and the vetting process is not up to speed. Even the FBI and Homeland Security, both groups have said no, they don't have the necessary information on who or what these people are.
Well, yeah, there's no doubt about that, and this is what's scary, is that we have no way to vet them. And if we want to look to see what can happen, look to Sweden. Sweden, 40 years ago, Sweden decided they'd become a multicultural nation, which was a big mistake. And so they changed the way they handle their immigration and everything else. And in an attempt to hold on to power as a nation and grow their nation, they threw the doors open to the Muslims. And in fact, they actually invited the entire nation of Syria to move into their country. Now, this has had disastrous results. Violent crime in Sweden, I just read about this morning, has increased 300%, and rapes have increased by 1,472%.
Oh, my.
Those are numbers I can't get out of my head, Zeb. And it goes on and on and on. 77% of the rapes being committed in Sweden right now are by Muslims, and they're not punishing them. They're letting them off scot-free. Their nation is falling, and it's falling very fast.
No.
Soon, Sweden may not exist as we've ever known it. And Sweden is a significant European country. It influences a lot over there. And what's happening there is being mirrored in other areas across the continent. And so I go back to, our borders. It is so critical what's happening, and what you say is happening in your college. We have gone so far off the rails. I actually wondered if you would bring up this morning, and maybe you still plan to. I'm sure we're almost out of time. But Yale has had a big uproar over Halloween because their students are upset over insensitive costumes, and saying to the administration, your job is to make us feel safe here and have a home here. Doggone it, Zeb, I thought their job was to educate kids. I didn't think it was to make them feel safe and at home. Safe in the sense that they're not physically assaulted or in physical danger. But safe emotionally, give me a break. Schools are supposed to be places to push the envelope and challenge you with different ideas and different concepts, sometimes even offensive concepts. But our schools don't do that anymore.
Well, and let's dovetail that into the story about the University of Missouri with the blacks and other minorities on campus joining together and asking for the dismissal of the college president at the University of Missouri because they feel that they're not being represented good enough, and they want more of the minority input into the Student Affairs Commission and also the way the college runs. Wait a minute. Since when did the inmates start running the asylum and telling everybody what to do? These kids, the football team, some of the members of the football team are going to quit, and they're not going to play the rest of the year. And they're being offered scholarships at our money to go there and play for that University of Missouri. I am incensed at what's happening in this country with the minorities demanding everything.
Well, and they do it because they get away with it.
Yep.
When I was a kid, I remember one time getting into a big argument with my father. I was a bit of, I had a bit of a mindset as a teenager that was not terribly rebellious, but it challenged some things. And I said something about rights, and he looked at me and said, you don't have any rights.
That's right.
He said, you're not an adult, you don't have rights, and don't think you do. He said, your right is to be treated well and loved and cared for, but you don't have a say in this household or in this society until you're a legal adult. Now, I grant people will say, well, some college students are, and I would challenge that. If we consider them children until they're 26 for their insurance purposes, thanks to Obamacare, then maybe we should take away their right to be called adults till they're 27 or too. But this is ridiculous. We give people too much authority. And this is what happens when you have weakness at the top. You have to take a strong stand. You have to say, this is why we're here. If you don't like it, then you can leave.
Absolutely.
You don't always bend for everybody just because they like it. It's very much in business, Zeb, like the business person who makes the mistake of saying the customer is always right. No, the customer isn't always right. And any businessman listening or businesswoman listening, I'm sure, has had people with ridiculous demands that they've had to deal with. The issue is people have a right to be heard. They don't necessarily have a right to change things or have a right to make a decision in things.
Absolutely.
And this is where our society needs to stop. We need to stop this nonsense and say, that's not how it works. If you don't like it, you can leave. There's lots of other nations on Earth you can go to. You don't have to stay here.
I got 3 other subjects to talk about this morning, and we didn't even have time for them. Holy smokes, Doug Johnson, I'm sorry. I really am. We really had a lot of news this morning. I might even have you back for a special little segment in the week sometime. Doug Johnson in Colorado, author and just a real great student of politics, and he knows what's going on. God bless you, man. Thanks for being on the program.
Thanks, Zeb. You have a great week.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Always enjoy having Doug on my show. Hey, don't forget Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and Hayburn. And it's true, this is where the fun is sold. Oh, my goodness. All the four-wheelers. Yes, sirree. Throw an old knapsack on the back and head for the hills and enjoy the fall up in the hills on a four-wheeler. Or it won't be too much longer. Snow. They've got the snowmobiles, and they've got got the new timber sled, snow bikes, and they got all the accessories. Oh, yeah, great big accessory department. And don't forget, too, a super service department. They can fix anything. They are really good. Let's ride. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and Heyburn. Hey, get over there because that's where the fun is sold. By the way, too, don't forget our friends at Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits. They got it all, and they know it all to help you. Absolutely. Very responsive and dedicated to your needs. Please get a hold of them today. Make an appointment to make sure you're covered. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Number to call for an appointment, 436-4424. You call them today. In just a moment, we're going to get all set to go on the phone line with Kerry Kupek, so stand by for that with the Alliance Defending Freedom. But first of all, I want to remind you, too, about our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric offering rebates on qualified Lennox home comfort systems. Whether it's a gas furnace, an air conditioner, or a heat pump, you and your family will enjoy the comfort. Absolutely. Call them at 678-0459 and learn how Ramsey Heating and Electric can save you money on Lennox. Really good folks. Oh, and one other person and group that I want to talk about real quick before I get Kerry on the line is Reg Trading Post. You know, I have said, and I'll stand behind my statement, that now more so than ever before, we have to be responsible for our own safety and the protection of our family. And that's why I urge you to get into Reg Trading Post at 203 5th Avenue South in Twin Falls. They've got a great large selection of new firearms from Browning, Beretta, Weatherby, Ruger, Benelli, Smith & Wesson, and Winchester, and all the ammo and all the accessories. Please go in and talk to the people that really know firearms. They've got the best folks there with the best in customer service. Since 1936 in historic Old Town Twin Falls, Red's Trading Post, 203 5th Avenue South in Twin Falls. Well, right now, it's time for a lovely lady to get on the program with us, and that's Kerry Kupek with the Alliance Defending Freedom. Kerry, good morning. How are you?
Doing well, Deb. Good morning.
You know, it's always interesting to see what you're going to send me that's going to get my dander up as far as stories to talk about every week. And the first one I want to talk about is the Supreme Court agreeing to tackle the abortion pill mandate's sham accommodation. Haven't we been here before with the Conestoga Wood Specialties owners?
That's right. We were. The Hobby Lobby Conestoga Wood Division, which many people are very familiar with, said the government cannot punish small family-run businesses for operating their businesses consistent with their faith. And specifically in that case, that meant that these small businesses should not be forced by the government to provide life-ending drugs and devices in their health insurance plans for their employees. The court said, yeah, that these businesses absolutely should be able to freely operate their businesses consistent with their faith. These are people of faith, so that makes sense. Well, the court at that time did not specifically address this issue with respect to religious nonprofit organizations. Now, at the time, the government, the Obama administration, had set up this so-called accommodation, which has taken on a series of looks throughout the last year. And they said, okay, well, you're a religious nonprofit, so we're going to accommodate your religious beliefs and in a certain way. And this way has changed a numerous amount of times. Now, where it has landed is is still pretty bad. Basically, what the Obama administration has required and demanded that these religious nonprofit institutions and organizations do is essentially sign a permission slip to allow their insurance company to be the carrier for the government's abortifacient drugs and devices. So essentially, the Obama administration is asking these priests, nuns, and Christian colleges and universities to be their drug mule and deliver these devices and drugs. So the Supreme Court on Friday agreed to take up review of all of the people before them that are arguing that this is a, like you said, sham accommodation. And there are actually 7 different groups before them. And like I said, it includes priests, nuns, and colleges and universities.
You know what bothers me, and I'm going to say it in very simplistic language. This administration, to which I have not much allegiance to, as to how they've been very inhumane treating not only the unborn but also senior citizens. This administration has basically tried to make certain groups and certain organizations and Christian colleges, etc., almost tried to make them into a hemlock society. Would you agree with that?
Yes, and look, the government has no legitimate basis. They have no reason for forcing faith-based organizations to be involved in providing abortion pills to their employees or students. The bottom line is, people who go to these Christian universities and these Christian colleges and universities are going there for a particular reason. They agree with the theological mission. They agree with the biblical teaching. These colleges and universities just want to abide by the very faith that they espouse and teach. So they shouldn't be forced to choose between giving that up or paying severe financial penalties. This is not a choice that any American should have to face.
What do you think, Carrie, about the Supreme Court? How are they going to rule? What do you think? Are you speculating how they'll rule?
Well, if they rule consistently with what they said in Hobby Lobby Conestoga, they should absolutely affirm the freedom of these nuns, of these priests, of these colleges and universities, of these faith-filled people and organizations to be able to continue to peacefully live and operate their organizations consistent with those beliefs. That was the principle espoused and affirmed within the Conestoga decision. And so it makes sense for the Supreme Court to follow its own rationale and own decision and apply the same for the groups before it right now.
All right, let's move on to another story, and this is the one that really got me upset this morning. The Supreme Court is going to be listening to a case where Missouri Church Preschool and Daycare Center was denied access to a state program that provides recycled tires to surface children's playgrounds. Just because they're a church school, they can't keep their kids safe? What's going on here?
Yes, that's what the 8th Circuit of Federal Appeals Court said. Apparently, children's safety is not high on their priority list if those children happen to be at a daycare run by a church. That's a big problem. The First Amendment is very clear. There's a lot of talk about the government can't establish a religion, can't respect the establishment, but then what does the second part of that clause say? Or stop the free exercise thereof. And the reality is, how in the world does a program in Missouri broad-handedly giving out recycled tire scraps to children's schools and daycare centers somehow violate the First Amendment if one of those daycare centers and preschools happens to be run by a church? That's singling out that particular entity for discrimination. That's discrimination against them because they are religious. And that is completely unconstitutional.
I just can't imagine this thing getting any traction, and I can't imagine in this day and age where you yell discrimination that this case is going to go very far. However, what are your thoughts? I mean, is the left going to win this one, or with the Alliance Defending Freedom filing a petition with the U.S. Supreme Court, are you going to win another one?
Well, let's talk about the background of this case for a minute. The lower court ruled against this daycare and preschool. Then the federal appeals court ruled against it. So hopefully the Supreme Court will take a look at these facts and say, oh, no, you courts got it wrong. What you're doing is unconstitutional and singling out this school. And again, let's paint this picture for a minute. We have a little daycare preschool center in Missouri, and all they wanted to do was participate in this playground scrap tire surface materials grant program.
Yeah.
What does that mean exactly? They wanted to remove and replace a large portion of the gravel in the playgrounds, which I'm sure we've all seen this gravel, with a safer recycled pour-in-place rubberized product. So we can see that image in our minds. We can see what that looks like. We know that that's safer for kids as they run around and play tag and slide down the slides. So how in the world would say someone walking by take a look at that rubber and say, oh, you know what? Missouri government, I bet you they got it from that scrap tire program. That must mean that Missouri is officially endorsing the religion of this daycare and preschool. That's a big problem for me. Right? It's absolutely ridiculous, especially since this program even-handedly has been allocating this scrap tire to a number of recipients, including in the past a number of church-sponsored centers. So the fact that these courts have now decided to single out this little Missouri church preschool and daycare center for this tire when everybody else around them is getting it is really sad. And what kind of message does it send to the children who attend that school? Like they're second-class citizens? That's a big problem.
Who is really pushing this on the left? Who is really saying, oh, we got to stop this. Oh, we can't have any correlation of church and state. Who really is the bad guy or the bad group here?
Well, what's interesting is if you take a look at the court's decision, on behalf of the Missouri government, their program, the ACLU filed a friend of the court brief, meaning they support the position of the state to deny this church school these recycled tire scraps. Now, if that's not ironic, I don't know what is. The ACLU, right, what is in their name? The Civil Liberties Union. If we're really going to talk about equality and we're really going to talk about even-handedness, then following the very mission which drives the ACLU, one would think they'd be on the other side, saying these kids, like all the other kids, should be able to play on a safe playground. But in fact, they're on the other side, which is really, really a shame, and it's quite sad to me.
Well, I tell you what, you're always on top of everything that's going on behalf of the Alliance Defending Freedom. And any other court cases or stories that we need to highlight from last week or weeks previous that maybe you've had some more information on?
No, we're still waiting to see if the Colorado Supreme Court is going to take the case of Jack Phillips, the cake artist out of Denver, Colorado. If you remember, he is the religious bakery owner who keeps his shop closed on Sundays and doesn't create items for Halloween or all kinds of events that violate his Christian faith. And yet, when a same-sex couple came through his door and wanted Jack to create custom work for their wedding ceremony, Jack slightly declined because of his faith, although he offered to create for them anything else they wanted. And now he's being sued, and he's lost at both the lower court level and the mid-court level. And so we're waiting to see if the Colorado Supreme Court will take that case and affirm Jack's freedom to operate his shop in a way that's consistent with his beliefs. So one of the briefs is due on Friday from our side, and then we should know sometime within the next number of months whether the Colorado Supreme Court has agreed to take up this very crucial case.
And one quick note that I wanted you to comment on. I was absolutely thrilled that 61% or better of the voting constituency in Houston, Texas voted down the bathroom bill. They said, no, it's not good for our city. Your thoughts?
Well, I thought it was fantastic. It really was so wonderful to see the people of Houston finally get their chance to voice their opinion. That's what the democratic process is all about. And it was quite disturbing, if you remember, about this time last year when the mayor of Houston was trying to stifle the people's voice there, when she was going after the people who wanted to get this initiative on the ballot box before the people. So for that initiative to get before the people, which you have to remember, the Texas Supreme Court had to actually tell the city of Houston, you are doing the wrong thing. You have not followed procedure. Get this initiative before the people, for it to actually have been there for the people to vote on and for them to defeat it in such a resounding way was really quite something. And it goes to show why the city and the mayor were probably so determined to suppress their voice last year, because they didn't want that result. They were forgetting that they live in a free and democratic society, but last Tuesday showed them differently.
Absolutely. Carrie, but in adjacency to what they did in accomplishing a 61% no vote, what do you think the liberal left and the lesbian, gay, and transgender agenda, what will they do next to try to crawl underneath the door sill?
I think they will take note of what happened there. Don't forget, the groups that opposed this measure that would have allowed men to use women's restrooms, women's locker rooms. The groups opposed, they tried to get some celebrities on board with them, right? They had Sally Field talking. They had political people such as Hillary Clinton speaking on behalf. They really tried to bring in some big guns, so to speak. But the people spoke loud and clear. So I think those groups who advocate for these, quite frankly, dangerous bills will take note and will realize, you know what? People in this country are not comfortable, and for good reason. They care about the safety and privacy of their women and their children and their men, quite frankly, because this goes both ways. This is not just about females; it's about men too.
Absolutely.
And I think they'll also realize that religious freedom is still something very, very important to the American people. The American people want to be free to continue to live peacefully and operate their businesses, their organizations in a way that's consistent with their faith.
Absolutely.
The principle that created America. We didn't create it, so it should not be going anywhere. Any attempt to stifle it or destroy it, what I really think this Houston situation showed, is going to be stopped. And certainly it's not going down without a fight.
Absolutely. Carrie Kupek with the Alliance Defending Freedom. How can everybody follow this and many other stories? Tell us, please.
They can go to adflegal.org.
All right. Legal Communications Director Carrie Kupek, and a great friend of this program. Carrie, God bless, and we'll see you next Monday.
Sounds good. Thanks, Dad.
All right. Take care. Thank you. That lady is just absolutely wonderful in giving us all the information as to what's going on with the Alliance Defending Freedom, and I thank her for being a part of our program every Monday. It's time for the weather, and the weather this hour is brought to you by Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service. Scott Gano and his crew are really good people. I mean, they know all about the trimming and the pruning and the removal of tree limbs, emergency work, and blowing out sprinkler systems. I was talking to a guy the other day and said, "Oh, I heard you on the radio. I got to get my sprinkler system all blown out before it freezes." Yeah, you do. You better call Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service, 438-2485 or 431-8733. Give them a call today. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Well, we could be expecting some rain and snow showers for today. A little bit on the windy side. Not too bad. Winds out of the west right around 10 miles an hour, but 60% chance of precipitation. High of 43 for today. Tonight, low of 29. Tomorrow, going to be a little bit better than today. Mostly cloudy, slightly breezy. High of 39 with an overnight low of 28. More sunshine for Wednesday with a high of 43 and partly cloudy and 40 for Thursday. That's your weather forecast for 7th Durant.
Very well done. Thank you, Gina. Don't forget, call Scott today. And he's got a new curbing machine, too. If you want a new curber on your property, he can do it. Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service. The number to call, 438-2485 or 431-8733. It is time to talk to our Scows Answer Man from the Scows CarQuest Centers, auto and truck parts. Scows, of course, located in Rupert, Heyburn, and Burley. And since 1949, boy, that's been a long time, every detail matters with parts sales and service. And we say good morning to Mr. Corey Smith. Corey, how are you this morning?
I am great. How are you doing today?
Not bad. Corey, tell us a little bit about yourself. You know, we haven't had a chance to visit very much. What is your job with Scows, and how long have you been there?
I have been with Scows since 2010 as a product specialist for the JCB lines and our Mahindra tractors.
Okay.
I am a native, almost an Idaho native, born in Utah, grew up in Rupert, right outside of Minidoka was my home.
Okay. And what piqued your interest about big machinery and working with Scows? I mean, what led you to work with those good folks?
Well, reputation. I've known the Scows for a number of years. Had the great honor of hunting pheasants with Mr. Scow years ago, and just the opportunity to be around such great brands like Western Star Trucks, JPD Construction Equipment, and now Mahindra tractors. Just a great opportunity for anyone.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this, Corey, about the JCB backhoes. I understand you talked to my wife earlier this morning. We're going to talk about those a little bit. What makes them so special? What makes them stand out?
Well, historians may disagree slightly, but JCB is given credit for inventing the backhoe. There was a couple of guys right there back in 1947 that were real close. JCB is the first one that put a excavator arm on the back of a tractor with a loader, and the backhoe was born. And that first went into production in 1953.
Okay, and what about JCB? Tell us a little bit about that company. Is it nationwide? Is it regional? How big is it?
Well, yeah, thanks for asking, Zeb. Last week we talked a little bit about the foundation of JCB. It started in England back in 1945, so we're enjoying our 70th anniversary this year. Today, it was a family business. They started with one product to serve the ag industry. It was a tipping trailer. They put that excavator arm on a Fordson tractor, and they were often running with a backhoe. Today, JCB is the third largest manufacturer of construction equipment in the world, and yet they remain a family-owned business. That's impressed me about JCB. One out of every 2 backhoes sold in the world is a JCB. That means they sell half of all the world's production of backhoes. And so that makes a few of them.
Okay. Now, the backhoes and construction, there's probably all kinds of innovative ideas going on for different types of equipment, and it sounds to me like they're changing with the times and always coming up with new ideas, correct?
Well, that is correct. What a great engine technology. There's a well-proven engine. This particular engine, there's over 300,000 of these engines in production and use. That engine was, the design was started back in 1996 for today's really stringent emissions requirements. And it's just a very efficient, powerful engine.
You know, when you talk about the 3 locations of SCOWs, of course, 323 East 8th Street, Highway 25 in Rupert with the CarQuest Center in Rupert, and then CarQuest of Burley at 518 Overland over in Burley, and then right there at Hayburn at I-84 exit 211. You've got a whole bunch of activity going on over there, along with all these JCB equipment. You've got Freightliner dealership, you've got the Mahindra tractors. How do you find room for everything?
Well, that is a good question, and we're on a fairly large piece of property here. In fact, there's even a test track right here at the store. We do have 4 facilities: a store in Salt Lake, a Freightliner dealership in Nampa, and another truck center in Idaho Falls, and of course, SCOW's truck center right here off exit 211 in Hayburn.
So all they have to do to come by and see these JCB backhoes and all the other equipment. Now, do they have to call you first, or can they just drop in? Do they have to arrange an appointment? Tell us a little bit about that.
We are very easy to get along with, and a person can drive right in. We have equipment right at the gate, and a person is welcome to come in, start looking around. To save time, it's always great to call. We love to hear from you, but everyone's just welcome to come in and just look if that's the desire. The equipment is right here, and then any of our staff will run out and make sure that a person is getting help, and come on in and see it.
And one thing, Corey, I wanted to mention, they've got a slogan that every detail matters, and that's really true at all 3 locations of SCOW's CarQuest, is it not?
It is. It's the little things, and we pay attention to that.
All right. Well, I appreciate you being on the program again this morning. And anything other that you would like to say about the JCB, backhoes, anything about the equipment, go ahead. I got about 30 seconds left.
Well, just maybe a quick story. JCB is a family-owned company, and I found myself calling into the corporate headquarters on a hotline. And that phone doesn't go to voicemail. Those people were tied up, and that went to the Vice President of North American Product.
Oh, my.
Someone is going to take your call. Someone's going to answer your question, and you're going to get great service with JCB equipment.
Boy, that is a policy I wished a lot of banks and other businesses would employ. That sounds good to me. Corey, God bless you, man.
Talk to a human being.
No, it's nice to talk to a human being. On behalf of Scows CarQuest Auto and Truck Parts, Rupert Hayburn and Burley, Corey Smith. Corey, thank you for being on the program this morning, and you have a great week.
You too, Jeff. Thank you very much.
All right, sir. Scows CarQuest in Rupert, again located at 323 East 8th Street, Highway 25. CarQuest of Burley, right there on Overland at 518 Overland, and the Big Truck Center that we were just talking to Corey at. I-84 exit 211 in Hayburn, and they've got it all for you. They really care. Every detail matters. Parts, sales, and service at Scows CarQuest. Really good folks. Okay, let me see. I got something else I've got to get on here real quick. Where am I at here on my program sheet? I got some public service announcements I've got to get on the air. Number one, let's see. The Denny's football game of the week this week in the playoffs, we're going to be featuring Declo playing Aberdeen. Now, that's going to be the game of the week for the Denny's Grand Slam breakfast winner. If you pick the right team and the closest to the final score, you'll receive a Grand Slam free breakfast from Denny's. And on Thursday, we'll tell you how you can get all your prognostications in on the game between Declo and Aberdeen. Don't forget that. Now, another quick note. I've got just enough time to get these in. The Central Idaho 4-H camps are celebrating their golden anniversary. Come and join them for the 50th birthday party dinner event Friday, November 13th at the Jerome County Fairgrounds in the Blue Building, and they're going to honor all of those who have been a part of this camp's history. So join them on Friday, November 13th from 6 to 9 for that big birthday party dinner. Also, coming up this next weekend on Saturday the 14th, the Relay for Life Fall Kickoff. It's open to the public. Come see what Relay for Life is all about. It's going to be at Maury's Convention Center on this coming Saturday the 14th, and starting time at, oh my goodness, where'd it go? I had it right here in front of me. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., open house, and that's going to be at Maury's Convention Center coming up this next Saturday. And then I also want to remind you that coming up on the 19th, oh my goodness, it's just around the corner, the second annual Pilgrim Pride Dinner. We're going to be talking to Linda over at the Senior Center, the Golden Heritage Senior Center, this next hour at 2421 Overland in Burley. So don't miss that. Coming up on November 19th. Last year's dinner was a huge success. This year, about the same. We're expecting. Last year, I think we fed almost 300 people, and it's going to be outstanding meals. You don't want to miss it at the Golden Heritage coming up on November 19th. Coming up also next hour, we're going to be talking to the Minidoka Memorial Hospital. Brenda Broner will be on the program with us this morning a little bit later, about 10:16. She is the clinic manager of Minidoka Medical Center. So we've got a lot of things coming up. And then at 10:30 this morning, we're going to be visiting with the Blue Ribbon Coalition about what's going on with our public lands. Are we losing our public lands? What can we do to fight for our public lands? We're going to have Martin Hackworth with the Blue Ribbon Coalition on at 10:32 this morning. Right now, we're going to send it back over to our main studios. Old Wheels is going to take us up to CBS News. We'll be back in about another 6 minutes. Don't you go away. Oh, welcome back. Hour number 3 on a Monday, November the 9th already. Welcome back, Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you, and along with some of our great advertisers, including Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Thank you very much. I want to remind you, too, about the Chadwick Sports Grill. Oh, my goodness sakes. My favorite sandwich is going to be on the special for today at the Chadwick Sports Grill, 139 West Main in Burley. Monte Cristo sandwich. Oh, they are so good with veggies and choice of side and super salad. All of that and the great menu choices and nice people at the Chadwick Sports Grill, 139 West Main in Burley. You stop in and have lunch today at the Chadwick. We are also very blessed on this program on Thursdays to have a program called Cassia County School Days, and I want to say thank you to A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley, and they have hundreds and hundreds of new toys, games, puzzles, books that will entertain, and the key thing, educate. Absolutely. Stop into A Child's World today at 1308 Overland in Burley, and also the Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley. Number to call to save money on your outpatient surgeries, 677-8888. 677-8888. Please give them a call today and find out more. Ambulatory Surgery Center and A Child's World, bringing you school days in Cassia County. Right now, let's go to the phone line. A lovely lady that has joined us last week on the program, and again this week, I believe we have the director of the Golden Heritage Senior Center. Hello, Linda. How are you?
I'm doing good, Zeb. How are you guys doing?
Well, not too bad. Linda, give us kind of a day in the life of the director of the Senior Center. Is it all the same, all boring, all the same every day of the week?
Oh, that would be nice. No, it's not. We have different things going on every day. Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. Okay, every time there's something new going on, people need to be looked at. You know, like we have to go out to do Meals on Wheels. Sometimes we get calls that they need something special, so we have to go out and do that. It's just different every day. It's not all boring.
Now, let me ask you this, Linda, as far as the Meals on Wheels is concerned. Nobody really is supporting the Meals on Wheels on a continuing basis. If it wasn't for the senior center like yours, the Golden Heritage, a lot of our seniors, they could very possibly starve to death. Is that not true?
That is very true. We're funded through a state and federal, but that's by the participants that we have. It's not a set thing. It's not ever something that we can count on a monthly basis. It's always different. It just varies. So it was for us trying to do our fundraisers and do the things that we need to do. But yeah, very big possibility that some of their seniors will not get fed.
And another thing that I was very much impressed with after all the years of working with the senior center there at Golden Heritage, the outside contact. For many of these people on the Meals on Wheels, unfortunately and sadly, the contact that they have with the person that delivers the meals might be the only outside contact they're going to have for that day.
Yes, and that is very sad. When they see you coming up to the door, they have this great, very, very grateful, very great people. Some of them don't talk to anybody for the rest of the day. You're the only contact. They don't know. They might not have family here, or maybe they just don't get involved with their parent. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, sometimes it is the only contact they have throughout the day. And it also helps them when we go in, make sure everything's okay, make sure that their health looks okay. And if not, our drivers usually call me or Debbie to go out and check on them. So, yeah.
Okay.
This program is really beneficial to the seniors.
How does a person, if they're all by themselves, or if it's a husband and wife and they just literally, because of health reasons, they can't get out of the house, how do they go about applying for a meal delivered?
Okay, they have to go through the Office on Aging in Twin, and normally they call here, and I give them all the information that they need. And then usually the Office on Aging does a evaluation right on the phone, so right the next day they will be able to get a meal.
Okay. Now, what are the numbers, especially out of the Golden Heritage? How many people do you serve on the Meals on Wheels?
Oh, geez, it seems like we're getting new participants every day, which is a good thing. Right now we're up to 52, and 52 daily.
Now, is this a Monday through Friday, or how many days a week is it?
It's Monday through Friday. We serve hot meals, but we also send out the weekend meals, which are frozen, to the people that would like the frozen meals and absolutely have no food in their home, that they do need them. And that's about 80% of our participants.
And that takes money. For heaven's sakes, it takes a lot of money. So along with possibly any governmental support, how much do the meals cost on a per-day basis?
Per meal, we're looking at, probably a little under $3. The last time I checked, it was $2.97. But the price of food has gone up, so it's probably a little bit over $3.
Okay. And so it takes a lot of money because you're looking at this, right now you said you're serving about 52, 53 people, and 5 days a week, and then on the weekends, frozen meals. Holy smokes, and if the money's not there, these people are going to go without a meal. And that's why the attendance at the Pilgrim Pride Dinner on the 19th is so important, right, Linda?
Oh, yes, it is. Very important. We absolutely need this fundraiser to keep our doors open, actually.
Well, now, tell us a little bit about what's going to happen on the 19th. Give us kind of a parameter as when it starts and the meal and everything else.
Okay, well, the meal, it's a turkey dinner. We're going to have turkey, ham, stuffing, mashed potatoes, gravy, corn, green beans, casserole, and the pies. We're going to have pies. I mean, it's just going to be, the rolls were homemade from our baker here, and she's a wonderful baker. We start serving at 5 o'clock, and we'll have I think it's a tribute ceremony, the flag ceremony.
Yes.
And then they'll just come right in and start serving, and then throughout the night we'll be giving out a lot of nice door prizes.
You know, and
we're also going to have entertainment. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And on the door prizes, I'd like you to stress that they do not have to be present to win. In other words, they don't have to sit there all night waiting for their name to be drawn, right?
Oh, absolutely. No. They do not have to stay. On the back of the ticket that they buy, they purchase, they'll have a place where they can put their name and their number, and that's what we're going to be drawing, the tickets that they write their name and their number on. So, no, they do not have to be present to win.
All right. Now, let's talk a little bit about the tickets. A lot of businesses have bought tickets and handed them out to various employees, etc., but there's also going to be tickets at the door. Tell us about that.
Yes, there'll be, even right now, we're selling tickets right now, and even as they come in, we'll be selling the tickets. Everybody will have a ticket to be put in for the door prize. Okay.
And entertainment, tell us a little bit about the entertainment that night.
Oh, we're going to have Dan Hendricks is going to come in and sing, and then we're going to have Scott Zimmerman, which is wonderful, on the piano. And we're also going to have a prayer, and she's the wonderful prayer by Linda Croft.
Oh, my. So I'm urging everybody to bring your family members and come on down to the second annual Pilgrim Pride Dinner at the Golden Heritage Senior Center at 2421 Overland Avenue in Burley. Holy smokes, Linda, do you realize it's just in a matter of days?
I know it. I'm really excited, too. We got lots of volunteers now, and I'm set with that, so I'm kind of at ease with everything now. I think everything's falling into place.
All right. Now, what telephone number can they call if they have questions about the dinner?
Okay, the number here is 878-8646, or they can call my cell phone, which is 670-4879.
Okay, and again, stress the fact that the net proceeds go to the Meals on Wheels.
Yes. All of the proceeds will go to the Meals on Wheels program.
All right. Linda, you did a phenomenal job. Thank you very much for being on our program this morning. And something tells me I'll see you down there tomorrow.
Yes, you will.
All right. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. A nice lady right there, Linda, the manager at the Golden Heritage Senior Center. And I really do urge you. I want to say this from my heart. I get all teary-eyed and choked up when I think about senior citizens being at home alone and not being able to really get up and prepare their meals or anything. And that's why this Meals on Wheels program is so important. And it's also for the contact with the outside world, if you will, for that person that delivers that meal to that senior citizen that's basically shut in. We cannot let this program fail. We can't. And I urge you to be there on the 19th for the Pilgrim Pride Dinner at the Golden Heritage Senior Center starting at 5 o'clock. Tickets are only $10, and believe me, the proceeds going to the Meals on Wheels. Okay? Got you covered. Just a minute, I got to get this word in here. I want to remind everybody about Ramsey Heating and Electric offering rebates on qualified Lennox home comfort systems. Whether it's a gas furnace, an air conditioner, or a heat pump, you and your family will enjoy the comfort. Absolutely. Call 678-0459 and learn how Ramsey Heating and Electric can save you money on Lennox. There you go. Well, right now, excuse me for the raspy throat this morning, but I've been kind of fighting a cold along with hay fever for the last couple of weeks. Right now, it's time to go over to the Minidoka Memorial Hospital at 1224 8th Street in Rupert. And like I always say when I start this segment, your health is so important, you want to work with the best that really care. And that's your friends and your neighbors at the Minidoka Memorial Hospital in Rupert. And with us on the telephone this morning is Brenda Broner, and she is the clinic manager of Minidoka Medical Center. Good morning, Brenda. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. I'm fine. How are you today?
I am fantastic. Well, now tell us a little bit about the medical center. Now, that is different from Minidoka Memorial Hospital, isn't it?
That's correct. We are a family medicine clinic and internal medicine clinic. We are affiliated with Minidoka Hospital, but we provide primary care medicine for our local community. We have 5 family medicine doctors and 1 internist in our practice.
All right, now when you say primary care, what does that mean? Explain primary care to my audience.
Well, we basically take care of people everywhere from birth to 119. We do primary care management as in wellness visits. If you don't have anything wrong, you just need a checkup. We work with the hospital with the health fair. You can get your blood work done, come in just once a year, look everything over, make sure everything's fine. Or if you have an acute illness, such as yourself, if you needed to be seen, you could call and we could take care of the symptoms that you're having. We also do disease management for the people with high blood pressure, diabetes, that sort of thing.
Well, now, Brenda, is it safe in saying that the Minidoka Medical Center is kind of not a short term, but a kind of we'll take care of any not long-term illnesses where we'll send it over to the hospital? Is that fair?
Actually, no. We do take care of long-term illnesses. We just take care of people when they are not requiring hospitalization.
I see.
If you're sick enough that you need to be hospitalized, then our doctors have privileges over there. They can see you here in the clinic, say, hey, I think we need to put you in the hospital and take care of you the whole time you're in there, too. All
right. Now, give a shout-out to some of the folks that work there as far as your family medicine providers. Who are they?
Okay, we have Dr. Brian Muir. We have Dr. Jeffrey Swenson, Brad Wynn, and we have 2 nurse practitioners, Erin Catmull and Cameron McCann. And our internal medicine doctor is Margot Saunders.
Well, you can't run an operation just with doctors alone. You have to have employees that do other things. Tell us a little bit about that.
That's correct. We have 13 other employees in our practice. We have 2 receptionists. We've got 5 nurses, and a document management person. We've basically just incorporated an electronic medical record, and we're trying to get used to doing all of that. So we're revamping some of our clinic skills and having a whole new way of doing things.
Well, now let me ask you this. Minidoka Medical Center, how many years has it been in existence over there?
Well, we started out with a single doctor, a single provider. That was over 20 years ago, and over the years we've just been adding more providers and more staff, taking care of more patients.
Well, now what about yourself? I'm not going to let you off the hook. What's your primary job day to day? What's a day in the life of Brenda Broner over there?
Well, I'm a registered nurse by profession, and my clinic management just kind of came along after years in the practice. And so I just oversee the day-to-day operations of the clinic. I'm responsible for, the financial reporting to the hospital, interacting with the insurance providers, interacting with the people in our area if they're either happy or unhappy with the care that we provide. We're also in the process of revamping our occupational health department within our clinic, and have a lot of services that we can offer to the companies in our area for that.
What does that mean, occupational health department? Explain that just a little bit further, would you please?
Okay, that would be work-related issues. We do pre-employment physicals for some of the major employers in our community, where we will review a person's medical history and do a physical evaluation on them prior to employment to make sure that they would be a safe employee to have. We do drug and alcohol testing and DOT physicals.
Okay. It sounds to me every week when I'm on the air with this Minidoka Memorial Hospital segment, it sounds to me like the people like yourself, you're really happy there. It's a growing and very vital concern. Give us your thought about the personality of the Minidoka Medical Center.
Well, it's a friendly place to work. It's a friendly place to come for your medical care. We are very interested in the health and happiness of our community and want to do everything we can to help with that.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about it this morning? You're the manager. You are the boss, so I'm going to give you the time that you deserve.
Well, we're happy to have people call. We schedule by appointment, but we are happy to have drop-ins also. We would especially like to emphasize our wellness services for pediatrics. We do all of the vaccination services that are with the Vaccine for Children with the state of Idaho. We accept all insurances, and we're just really interested in an ongoing permanent relationship with people.
All right, now, I understand that you're in some new digs, so to speak, kind of a brand new, beautiful medical plaza. If people are unaware as to where you're located, what's the easiest way to tell them how to get there?
Okay, if you're standing in front of the hospital, just look to your left. We're right across the street to the left. It's a brand new, beautiful building. Just come and see us. We'd love to give you a tour of our new facilities, too. We're just very lucky to have such a nice building in our community.
Well, I'll tell you what, I really appreciate you coming on the program this morning. A very nice lady, and she is the clinic manager of Minidoka Medical Center, and that's Brenda Broner. Brenda, thank you so much, and God's blessings to you, and it's not too early to say now, have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. You too, Zeb.
All right. Thank you very much. And, folks, that all is taking place at Minidoka Memorial Hospital. Holy smokes, an independent community hospital dedicated to improving the health and well-being of the Mini-Cassia area. And Minidoka Memorial Hospital and, of course, Minidoka Medical Center right next to it at 1224 8th Street in Rupert. And like I said in the opening, your health is very important. Work with the best that really care over at Minidoka Memorial Hospital. Okay, we've got a couple of minutes here, and I'll take some more phone calls at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587 before we send it over to our main studios for a hard break. By the way, is it too hard? Maybe driving is too hard. Maybe getting your driver's license is too hard. Maybe passing a driver's test is too hard. Maybe understanding what was on the driving test is too hard. I've got to get this out this morning because this morning, standing on my deck outside my back door, I watched an almost head-on collision. Now you're saying, well, what caused it? Well, because of the incompetency and the idiocy of some people that can't understand that a double yellow line means do not pass. A farm truck was headed east by my place. It's a double yellow line. A car pulled out to pass him on the double yellow line, headed east, and there is a big dip in the highway down the road about another 200 yards. He being the idiot that passed on the double yellow line, evidently did not know about the dip or didn't care about the dip, and two cars were coming up out of that dip, and he just narrowly got in front of the farm truck and avoided a head-on collision with those two vehicles. What is the matter with you zombies out there that can't understand a no-passing zone? First of all, it's a 45-mile-an-hour zone. He was doing about 65 or better. What is the hardship about understanding what a double yellow line means? Gee, class, let's look it up in the driving manual. Oh, a double yellow line. Do not pass. It's not that hard. And my neighbors and I are all getting together, and we're going to demand that there are more signs put up, no passing zones. This is crazy. For some reason, in this little brief area right here by us, they think it's a drag strip, and that they can pass anytime they want. And it's not just passenger cars. It's even large semis. And this is so idiotic, someone is going to get killed. So, for those drivers out there that are having a hard time understanding, a double yellow line means do not pass. We're going to have another exam on this tomorrow morning. Gee, study up. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. By the way, I want to get this message out, and this is for Veterans Day on this Wednesday. Free meal to veterans. Come in and identify yourself and wear your uniform, and free Grand Slam breakfast, I believe. You can build your own Grand Slam breakfast at Denny's in Burley on Wednesday for Veterans Day. And I know Thomas and the crew, they are as American as anybody can be, and they're always supporting the various events, and they absolutely are supporting Veterans Day coming up this Wednesday. By the way, we too are going to honor veterans on Veterans Day, and after the program, I'm going to be talking to Wheels. We're going to do some special music during the program. We're going to have a guest. Georgia Greenwell is going to be on our program. We've got a lot of things to highlight and salute our veterans, to say thank you for what they have done in keeping us free here in the United States. So again, thanks to Denny's and what they're doing for our veterans. Another quick note, let's see, I had that here in my hand. The game of the week. Don't forget the game of the week this week will feature Declo against Aberdeen. And if you pick the right team and closest to the final score, you'll receive a free Grand Slam breakfast from Denny's at 611 Overland in Burley. Coming up next hour, we're going to have Martin Hackworth, and he is now the director for the Blue Ribbon Coalition. We're going to be talking to him about public lands and what's going on with our public lands. Whether you're a hiker, a biker, a four-wheeler, or whatever, we're going to see what's going on and the urgency of having an organization like the Blue Ribbon Coalition fighting for us. So stay tuned. Right now, we'll send it back over to our main studios. Here's Wheels. I'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
And now back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Oh, thank you very much, and welcome back to the last half hour of our program this morning. And this, of course, Monday, November the 9th. We are on the phone right now with the executive director of the Blue Ribbon Coalition, ShareTrails.org, Martin Hackworth. Good morning, Martin. How are you this morning?
I wasn't able to get him, sir. It went straight to his voicemail, but I did email your wife.
Oh.
There was a backup number.
Well, that's the only number that I'll tell you what I'll do. Let me see if I have another backup number, and we'll try to reach him. I'm looking at the sheet right now and not doing so good. Trying to find it while I'm on the air. Keep trying that number, Wheels, and that's all I can give you right now. I don't have another backup number available.
Okay.
All right.
I'll continue to try, and if he doesn't end up answering, I'll just let you know through text.
All right. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Well, in that case, it means that we have an open half hour. And Mr. Hackworth, I hope you get back on your phone here pretty quick, and we can get you on the air. And, Deanne, if you have an 800 number, I know they had an 800 number on their website. Maybe we can try that. Calls are welcome. 436-2244. 1-866-927-4587. Come on, give me a call. I hate it when this happens. And we don't have a guest that shows up. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead. Talk to me, caller. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Zeb. I can barely hear you.
Well, you know, we've got... hold it right there. Wheels, we got to do something about these callers that are not hearing me, so you got to regulate that, or maybe talk to Jerry about it, because these people aren't hearing me. So go ahead, caller, please.
Calling about your situation that you have ever since I can remember, with people going right through your area as fast as they can, passing when they want. You know, there's a lot of areas around, too, and it's a bad deal. I agree with you. It's terrible. Right past my house, I have one individual who doesn't think stop signs mean anything on a gravel road. Does 90 miles an hour down it. He don't care. He called the sheriff's department, and of course you got to catch the guy and prove it with him and go to court and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
If you can prove it, that's one thing. But to chase him down, by the time you get to where the vehicle stops, there's sure, you know, you can't tell who's been in a vehicle, for sure.
Well, I know one thing. We, and I say we, my neighbors and myself, are going to make a concentrated effort to gather full license plate numbers and information on vehicles, because we do not want to see somebody get killed on this road. And it's very hard to pull out on this highway when you've got some idiot passing in a no-passing zone.
Yeah, that section of road there, as much as I've driven it and as much as I do drive it, in various vehicles, you know, it's one of them kind that a professional driver, you know, you look for, you don't get yourself killed or somebody else, more importantly.
Absolutely.
And here in little towns like Hanson and Murtaugh and Kimberly, of little children, they don't watch what they're doing, so why do people need to go through there at 50, 60, 70 miles an hour?
Amen.
It's pretty fast. I try to keep it around 35 going through your area just for that reason.
Now, I appreciate your call, and I appreciate the way you drive. Thank you, sir. God bless you for your call this morning. Thank you. Thank you. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Zeb.
All right, go ahead.
Good. Yeah, I agree with you. There's some really crazy people out there. And you know me, I'm a professional truck driver. And, you know, my truck weighs up to 106,000 pounds. It got 8 axles on it. So it don't stop or maneuver very well, but fortunately, so far, I've been able to avoid the stupidity out there. But one of these days, man, I'm afraid somebody's going to do something so stupid that even I won't be able to save them, and they're going to get squashed.
Well, let me ask you, as a professional truck driver, gee, what is so hard reading the driving manual? Is it that hard to understand that a double yellow line means do not pass? What's the matter with these nimrods?
Well, I think they just don't care. We just take a chance, you know. Well, sometimes they win. Sometimes they lose. I've had several times when I've been on 2-lane roads where there's been a double line and people just pass me. You know, they win that one, I guess. I slow down, let them hurry up and get past me so we won't have a crash. But like I say, one of these days, one of these people are going to do something so stupid that I won't even be able to save them.
Well, and you know, we had...
I'm not worried so much about me. My truck weighs 53 tons. A little car weighs 3 or 4 tons. There is no contest there.
Yeah, I agree with you, and it's so unfortunate. But you know where I live, and you know the nature of the road. As you're headed east, that little dip, cars and even major semis, when they get in that dip, they are not to be seen. It's that low, and somebody that decides to be an idiot and wants to pass going east, my goodness, that's a death wish.
Yeah, I've driven that road a lot, and I know exactly what you're talking about.
Well,
so, like I say, that's just my little 2 cents worth. I do all I can to be the best driver I can be, and even try to avoid the idiots out there and their stupidity. But one of these days, somebody's going to do something so stupid that I won't even be able to save them.
Yeah, I appreciate your phone call on this, sir. Thank you very much for calling in. God bless you, man.
Yeah,
thanks.
welcome,
you know, I just don't understand why you want to play Russian roulette, not only with your life, but also with the oncoming traffic and the person behind you that's going to get caught in that spider web, that tangled web of vehicles if there's a head-on collision. Mike, just think of it. This morning I stood there on that porch and I just cringed. I came in the house and I told my wife, I said, you wouldn't believe what this idiot in a white car, and if the idiot in the white car is listening to this program, yep, I called you an idiot, because you are. Passes a large farm truck, and by the way, the farm truck was doing the speed limit, and passes him on a double yellow line head on into 2 vehicles coming out of that dip. Where is the common sense? And it's not just here. It's other places. For some reason, a double yellow line, does that say in the new text for the driving manual, oh, it's a racetrack, go ahead and pass? No, it doesn't. Please, wake up and smell the coffee. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Deanna, did you find another number for him? Okay, you sent a message? Okay. Believe me, we'd love to get him on the air, and hopefully we can. Martin Hackworth at the Blue Ribbon Coalition up in Pocatello. But until that time, give me a call, and we'll talk about any subject you want to talk about at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Tomorrow night, the big debate in Milwaukee, and it's going to be carried on the Fox Business Channel. And I will say this, I hazard a guess that of all the different debates that have occurred so far, I think that this debate will be the most meaningful, and I think the moderators will ask the most poignant questions because, boy, they've had the most time of anybody to kind of sit back and see and understand what not to say or ask during these debates. So it should be a good one tomorrow night at our time, 7 p.m. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Talk to me, caller.
I can barely hear you.
You know, I don't know what the deal is, why callers can't hear me this morning, but we've got to get this rectified. Go ahead, caller. I can hear you. You're on the air. Go ahead.
The double line issue, I absolutely agree with you. But it contradicts itself at times. Like, for instance, the intersection going towards Paul there at Massey Ferguson or Ag West or whatever they call that, that in order to turn, if you're going north, in order to turn and go west, you have to cross that double line.
Yeah, but that's not passing, Keith. That's turning into a business.
Yeah, that's just, it's a little confusing to some people.
Yeah.
But common sense really plays into it.
Well, you know, there's been a lot of stories about double yellow line, what you can do and can't do, and if you went according to, there was a police story in the Times News not too many months ago, and they were saying, well, you can't cross a double yellow line to turn into your property. That's baloney. That is absolutely baloney. Yes, you can turn into your property. That would mean that I'd have to go 15 miles out of my way to go and turn into my own property, so that's insanity. I'm talking about passing somebody on a highway headed in the same direction on a double yellow line. That is illegal.
Turning into your driveway, that's just a matter of common sense.
Absolutely.
Do it both ways, and then you proceed. But it's just a little bit confusing, and I don't know the answer to the problem.
Okay, well,
but it's there, and it's the law, and we need to abide by it.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Keith. Always good to hear from you, my friend. Have a great day. Thank you so much. All right, caller number 2, go ahead. You're on the air. Speak to me.
You said to call in about things. I want to just pick something real quick here. We've got a Facebook group called Minicasia Business Review, and we have lots of good reviews about places to eat at and stuff. But one of the things that keeps coming up is the Minicasia gas prices. How come we're 50 cents more than Twin Falls?
I can't answer that question, and I wouldn't even attempt to answer that question as to why there's such a wide, varied, kind of a Grand Canyon on difference of gas prices. I can't answer that. I think maybe why don't you call some of the distributors up in Twin and some of the distributors here in Burley and put them on the spot and ask them why there's such a wide variance of pricing.
Well, we've had Nick Litch jump in there with us, and he's trying to explain because Twin Falls is having a giant gas war. It's down to 189 in Twin Falls, and it's still up to 229 around this area.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, okay, you're having a gas war, so you're telling me gas here is 229. And so what does that mean in Twin Falls? You're losing 50 cents a gallon for every gallon you sell?
Yeah, The gas prices to me make no sense whatsoever. I've never understood how you can have unleaded or the high octane gas still be cheaper than diesel. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever why diesel drivers, whether you have a pickup, a diesel car, a great big outfit, why we're paying through the nose for a product that really should be cheaper than the gasoline products.
And that's what people don't realize. Diesel is a byproduct of gasoline that they had no use for until somebody, they burned it in their lamps and stuff until somebody came up with the diesel engine.
Yeah, that's right.
They had no use for diesel because it was a byproduct of making gas.
But I'll tell you what, sir, you'd better appreciate these low prices while you can, because I've got a sneaky feeling after Obama goes to Paris for that climate change meeting in December, hold on to your billfold, okay?
Yep, things are going to change.
All right, sir, thank you. Thank you very much. Caller, good morning, you're on the air, go ahead.
Good morning, Zeb. This is Benny from Twin Falls. In regards to that gas price, ask the old boy that owns all those Oasis stations about the gas prices. He is always anywhere from, like the caller said, 30 to 40 to 50 cents higher in Twin Falls area than it is up here in Rupert and Burley area. And like the other caller said, too, as far as the diesel prices being higher, that doesn't make any sense either because it costs less refinery process. It's less of a refinery process to refine it. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, I want to ask you this, and you sound like you're very knowledgeable about this, but I bought a diesel over 10 years ago, primarily because it would be more economical to drive, and in the long run, the engine would last longer. It'd be a vehicle that could stay in my possession longer and not think about trading vehicles as often. But I'm paying through the nose to put the diesel into the tanks. I think financially I would have been further ahead to buy a gas outfit.
That's exactly right. Nowadays, I don't know. I had a little Rabbit diesel, Volkswagen diesel one time, 52 miles per the gallon. I would tell you what, I wish I had it back.
Amen. Hey, thank you for your call.
It would be better to have that now than paying these high prices for gas, even though the diesel's higher. But you gotta configure the miles per gallon in there, you know. So anyway, okay, I'm tying up your line, so I appreciate it, buddy.
I appreciate your call, sir. Thank you very much. It meant a lot to me. Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I don't know why we're having a problem this morning with callers not being able to hear. I don't know what the mechanics are as to what's not working correctly, but hopefully we can get it rectified by tomorrow. And give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. It has never, ever dawned on me what the reason and the rhyme is for having these gas prices 35 miles apart, 50 cents difference doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. We'll get the weather forecast on here real quick, and then I'll take some more of your calls. Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome, 324-7657. They are your hometown meat cutter, locally owned and custom meat processor for over 20 years, and they're changing the way we eat one delicious bite at a time. Caller, don't go away. I'm going to get the weather. I'll be right with you, I promise. And don't forget, too, for all your big game processing at Scarrows, the wild game bacon. It is super delicious. They guarantee everything they sell at Scarrows Meats. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Well, we could be expecting some rain and snow showers for today. A little bit on the windy side, not too bad. Winds out of the west right around 10 miles an hour, but 60% chance of precipitation. High of 43 for today. Tonight's low of 29. Tomorrow going to be a little bit better than today. Mostly cloudy, slightly breezy. High of 39 with an overnight low of 28. More sunshine for Wednesday with a high of 43 and partly cloudy and 40 for Thursday. And that's your weather forecast for 7th.
Oh, Gina, thank you. Great job this morning. Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome, and they guarantee everything they sell, and they're changing the way we eat one delicious bite at a time at Scarrows Meats. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Sorry to keep you waiting.
Well, good morning again, Zeb. I can answer your question why diesel's higher than gas. It's because of the tax levies. See, there's a lot more taxes on diesel, you know, the road taxes, than there is on gasoline.
So basically,
even though it costs less to make diesel, taxes make diesel more expensive to buy.
So basically, those of us that thought that we were doing a good thing years ago and going to get a vehicle that could last longer, be more efficient and everything else, we're just paying extra because we're getting gouged, right?
Well, it's sort of, but the road taxes are higher on diesel than they are on gasoline.
Okay. All right.
The state road tax, the federal road tax, the only diesel that's cheaper is the farm use diesel.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have the taxes on it, so it's about $1 a gallon cheaper.
You know, speaking of that, a person has really got to be careful. You can't use that on the highway because if you get caught, it's going to be trouble in River City, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's a major fine if you get caught using farm-grade diesel on the highway. Plus, it's higher sulfur, so it's not good for your engine.
Okay, well, I appreciate your calling back. Thank you, sir. All right, sir. Thank you much. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a jingle. By the way, I want to just mention this. Tomorrow, the Fast Food Workers of America are planning on having their biggest strike ever for a crusade of having and maintaining a $15 an hour wage. And whether it's McDonald's, whether it's Wendy's, whether it's Burger King, it doesn't make any difference. These folks are yelling and screaming on behalf of the SEIU union that they're demanding that they get a $15 wage for flipping burgers. My question is, where are the entry-level jobs? Where are they going to be? And where does it stop? What do you do in a case of all of a sudden overnight having to come up with $15 minimum wage for burger flippers? Where do you stop this? Where do you draw the line on who's going to get wage increases from there? What about the managers? What about the assistant managers? All of this is going crazy right now with the SEIU demanding that they step in on behalf of these workers at fast food restaurants. And I've got some other dangerous concerns too. I'll tell you about those in a minute. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Jeff.
Yes, sir.
The way people drive, I support the what the biker gangs and stuff do, and I've been to a lot of their functions and their charity work and whatnot, and I donate money to them. But Saturday they were having a big ride, and I was coming in from Burley towards Rupert, and they all got off the freeway behind me, and we was headed into Rupert, got past the Wayside Cafe, and I was in the slow lane. Well, they were all running over in the fast lane, 2 by 2. Well, they were going a lot faster than I wanted to drive, so I was just letting them kind of ease up behind me, when 4 or 5 of them whipped up behind me and then went around me over the fog line on the right-hand side, slipped and gravel all over my windshield and everything. And I wanted to call the law right then and there, and and turn them in, but you'd have to catch the ones that was doing it, and that is totally, completely uncalled for.
I agree with you. And, I don't care what group it is. It could be a bunch of guys on go-karts, as far as I'm concerned. If they're not going to be aware of what their dangers are, what they're doing. And there's a lot of motorcycle groups. And I want to say this right up front. I know a lot of motorcyclists, and I know a lot of motorcycle groups. And they're very, very cautious on the road, the way they go down the highway, and I'm not going to condemn all of them. But in this case, passing on the right-hand side and spraying your vehicle with gravel and everything, it's really too bad you couldn't have got some license numbers or something as far as identification and turned them in, because that's absolutely asinine.
Yeah, I wanted to so bad, but I was just trying to, once they start passing on both sides, I was just trying to make sure they wasn't going to run into the rear end of me.
Absolutely. Well, and again,
so I just, I finally just slowed down, let them get by, and I don't know where they all went, but they said they were doing that Christmas ride or whatever they do, and I support them 100%. So when you do stuff like that,
like I said, it only takes one bad apple to ruin the whole battle, and that just kind of soured me on the whole deal, you know?
You know, and that's the truth. One bad apple can sour the whole barrel. And really what they were doing, it was a good thing for the community. It was a good thing to help others. But all it takes is some one person on a motorcycle, whether it's a Harley or whether it's a Yamaha, and they can screw it up for everybody in the future. And I agree with you. Thank you for your call. I appreciate that.
You bet. Thank you.
All right, sir. Thank you. You know, I'm not going to condemn everybody. I'm not going to say all bikers are bad. No, I got a lot of friends that are bikers. I do, and I respect them, and I absolutely know that they're good, cautious people. So I'm not going to blame them as an entirety, but all it takes is one stupid person, and that's too bad. Let's take a look right now at what's going on at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. And they've got a free pre-trip safety check where they will check the tire pressure, tread depth, free tire rotation, visual alignment, check the brakes, check the shocks, check the battery. All of this before you get ready to go to Aunt Martha and Uncle Fred's for Thanksgiving. Yeah, and make sure you've got the best in tires, too. They've got all the traction tires ready for you, and the studded tires and the tire chains. It's all there at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. And don't forget, too, the best in brake service, front end alignment, shocks and struts, and the best in batteries. All of this and more with Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, John on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. You stop in and see them today. Excuse me for the hoarse throat this morning, but fighting a little bit of cold and also a little hay fever, I think, still left in the area. Your calls are welcome. I got time for one more phone call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I wanted to kind of give you a little rundown as to where we're going to be at tomorrow on the program. We've had some changes, and I want to get this in here. Same from 8:06 until 9 o'clock, an open forum to where you can call in and we'll hear all your answers to the various statements and questions. And then at 9:06, I'm going to have about a 15-minute interlude to where we're going to take some more of your calls. Then at 9:15, we're going to have Senator Mike Crapo call in, and we're going to be talking about his and his staff awarding various veterans with a really nice honor on Veterans Day Wednesday. And we're also going to have just a very few moments to ask him some questions. Then we're going to have Christine Marsh talking about what happened down in Houston, Texas, with the gay rights, lesbians, and transgender bill going down in defeat. Hooray, I'm glad that happened. Then at 10:06, Dr. History is going to be on the program. And then, because of the change with Senator Mike Crapo, we're going to have Frosty Woolridge on at 10:30 only tomorrow. And then on Veterans Day, of course, Dave Bigo, a special tribute to our veterans, and George Greenwell will be on the air with us talking about her service to the United States of America. All that coming up in the next couple of days, so you stay tuned. Tomorrow morning we'll start at 8:06 and we'll ride the horse for 3 hours till 11 o'clock. Zeb at the Ranch on K-Bar 12:30 a.m. and then streaming live on the internet, zebbell.com. And tune in and have fun with us and be sure and call. Zeb at the Ranch, and we always say this: the way things were are the way things ought to be. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Have yourself a great Monday.